สวัสดีค่ะวันนี้เรามาอ่าน Bedtime Story ของ Uncle Arthur เล่มที่1บทที่2กันนะคะเรามาอธิษฐานกันค่ะ
สาธุการข้าแต่พระบิดาเจ้าขอบพระคุณสรรเสริญพระองค์สำหรับโอกาสและเวลาเพื่อที่จะอ่านเรื่องเล่าของลุงอาร์เธอร์ขอพระเจ้าประทานสติปัญญาเป็นพิเศษขอพระองค์ประทานคำพูดที่ดีให้กับน้องแอนจี้ในขณะที่อ่านแล้วอ่านให้ราบรื่นเพื่อหลายๆคนจะได้รับพระพรกราบทูลในนามพระมหาเยซูคริสต์เจ้าอาเมน
เรื่องที่2 The Hollow Pie Robert had the very bad habit of always taking the biggest and the best of everything for himself. His brothers Charlie and Ted would call him all sorts of names for doing it, but that did not seem to make any difference. Mother was very sorry about it too, especially since Robert, when invited out to parties, always disgraced the family by his greediness. What could be done? Mother talked the matter over with her sister, who lived on the next street. A few days later, the boys were delighted to receive an invitation to dinner from their aunt. Remembering all the good things they had enjoyed there in the time past, they looked forward to the day of the party. At last, the day came, and dinner time arrived, for which Robert especially had been waiting. The table was piled with good things, but Robert looked at longingly where the cupcakes, jellies, small pies, and chocolates. Robert's eyes gazed excitedly on the wonderful spread of tasty dishes. Oh my, he thought, if only I could attend to this little matter by myself. He looked at everything and made up his mind of which them he could choose when they were passed around. When all the visitors had been given their places at the table, dinner began. They all began with bread and potatoes and greens in the usual way, but Robert soon got tired of that. He looked at the plate of small pies, one whole pie for each person. He wanted the biggest one. Whole pie for each. Would he get it in time, or would Charlie get it first? The pies were passed around. Charlie and Ted took small ones and opened them. What wonderful centers they have, thought Robert. Now, if only I can get that big one. Robert's turn came. The biggest pie was still there, and of course he took it with joy. But a disappointment awaited him. As he cut through the top, the whole pie collapsed. It was hollow. Poor Robert! Tears filled his eyes, but no one seemed to notice what had happened. He ate the crust as bravely as he could and said nothing. The cupcakes were passed around. Robert thought he was quite justified with taking the biggest this time, seeing that there had been nothing in his pie. But something was wrong in his cake. It looked all right outside, but in the center it was bitter. What can be the matter? Thought Robert. Auntie was generally a good cook, and then too, the others didn't seem to be having any trouble at all. It wasn't fair, thought Robert, but he didn't dare say anything for fear the others would laugh at him. Nobody seemed to notice Robert's unhappiness, and no one passed him any to make up for his bad luck. In fact, the others all seemed to be enjoying themselves to the full. The chocolates came next, and by this time Robert was getting desperate. I'll have to make up for lost time by taking those two big beauties in the center, he said to himself, as he removed the two largest, best-looking ones from the plate. Ah, said Robert, groaning inwardly and blushing all over with disappointment. What a horrible taste! Swallowing one with difficulty, he tried the other to take the taste away, only to find it worse. On the way home, Charlie remarked to Robert about the splendid dinner they had had. Splendid? What? Said Robert. I thought you weren't enjoying yourself, said Charlie. Look, you look uncomfortable. What is the matter? Matter? Said Robert. Everything I took was bad, even when I took what looked the best every time. Maybe that was the cause of the trouble, Robert, said Charlie, knowingly. I think if I were you, I'd leave the biggest and best looking things for somebody else next time. That night, Robert stayed awake quite a long time. There were two reasons. One was a pain under his pajama jacket, and the other, the advice Charlie had given him. He put two and together and at last decided that the best and safest course for him would be to follow Charlie's suggestions in the future. ขอบคุณค่ะ